Greetings, Guardians. This is Olympus Alliance. And today we are stepping into something that, at first glance, might look like just another update. But in reality, this is a structural shift in how we play the game every single week. Because over the last few days, two major changes have landed in Dominion. Two systems. Two directions. Both with the potential to reshape how we approach progression, planning, and even the way battles unfold. The first is the introduction of realm tasks into Guild Versus. And the second is the new damage over time mechanic, which, as we've already mentioned, has massive implications for interactions between heroes like Iris and Octavia. Now that second change deserves its own deep dive, and we are already working on that for you, because it has the potential to completely reshape certain matchups. But today, we focus on Guild Versus. Because this change affects every single player, every single week. And more importantly, it changes how you should be planning your resources. So let's take a step back and understand what actually happened. Guild Versus has always been about planning. About knowing when to spend, when to hold, and how to extract maximum value from your resources. But now, realm tasks have been introduced into that system. And that means one thing. The game is no longer just about heroes. It's about your realm as well. Your buildings. Your research. Your troops. Everything now feeds into Guild Versus. And that changes the rhythm completely. Before we go day by day, there's one key detail you need to understand. The scoring system has been scaled. Points are now 10 times higher. So instead of aiming for 450,000 points, we are now aiming for 4.5 million. Now don't panic. This is mostly a visual change. Rewards have been scaled accordingly. But psychologically, this feels different. It feels heavier. And it reinforces the idea that Guild Versus is becoming more complex. More layered. More strategic. So now, let's dive into the week. Day 1. Titan Power. And honestly, this day hasn't changed much in terms of strategy. It was already one of the hardest days to max. And it still is. Yes, realm tasks have been added. You can now gain points from gathering resources, defeating monsters, raiding camps. But the reality is simple. The points from these tasks are not enough to carry the day. So if you were skipping this day before, nothing really changes. This remains a low priority day for efficient resource management. Day 2. Skin Stones. Now here, things get more interesting. Skin Stones remain the core way to complete this day. That hasn't changed. But now, realm building tasks have been added. And this is where the opportunity lies. Because building upgrades can generate significant power increases. And more importantly, many of us have speed ups saved. Which means, this day is no longer limited only to skin stones. You now have flexibility. You can compensate. You can adapt. And that's a big shift. Day 3. Hero Gear. Again, the core remains the same. Equip gear. Gain points. But now, research enters the equation. Realm research tasks and speed ups can now help you push this day further. And some of these research upgrades give large power boosts. So what does that mean? It means that even if your gear is limited, you have another path. Another way to reach that target. And again, this reinforces the same idea. Guild versus is no longer one-dimensional. Day 4. And this is where things really change. What used to be rune mastery is now something much bigger. Because Next has moved hero power tasks into this day. And that changes everything. Because now, this becomes one of the easiest days to complete. You are no longer waiting for that perfect moment once a month. You can now consistently generate points here. But there is a trade-off. Because what was moved here was removed from day 5. And that leads us to the biggest transformation in the entire week. Day 5. What used to be Hero Power Day is no longer that. This is now Realm Power Day. And this is where many players will struggle at first. Because now, your points come from building upgrades, troop recruitment, training speed-ups, and overall realm progression. This is no longer about heroes. This is about infrastructure. And if your realm is not developed, this day becomes difficult. But there is opportunity here. Because if you understand the system, you can optimize it. For example, instead of recruiting new troops, you can promote lower tier troops to higher tiers. And in many cases, this gives more value. Faster. More efficient. Now we don't know yet how consistent this will be. But it's something you should absolutely test. Because this is the type of detail that separates good players from efficient players. Day 6. Relics. And here, good news. Nothing major changed. You still need the same amount of relic resources. But now, realm tasks can help you reach the target. Speed-ups, training, research, all contribute. Which means, once again, more flexibility. So Guardians, what does all of this mean? It means Guild versus is evolving. It is no longer just about hero progression. It is about total account development. It is about managing multiple systems at once. And most importantly, it rewards planning more than ever. Because now, you need to think ahead. You need to distribute your resources. You need to decide where you gain value. And that is where the advantage lies. Now let's connect this with the bigger picture. Because this update didn't come alone. It came together with the introduction of damage over time changes. And while we are not diving deep into that today, just understand this. The game is moving towards consistency. Towards reliability. Towards systems that reward understanding. And Guild versus is now a part of that evolution. So take your time. Study the new structure. Experiment with your resources. And most importantly, adapt. Because the players who adapt faster will gain the biggest advantage. And of course, we want to hear from you. How are you finding the new Guild versus? Which days feel easier? Which ones feel harder? And what strategies are you using? Let us know in the comments. Because this is a system we will continue to explore together. Stay tuned, stay sharp. And as always, salute and friendship.